Don't listen in the dark.
It's good to be the king. Now, I'm not delusional. I know I'm not really a king, but it can feel pretty close. I'm Terry Thomas, and 50 plus hours a week, I'm the warden at the Patterson Correctional Facility, Level 4. But I hate that name. Correctional really isn't the right word. When my dad was a guard back in the day, they called it a penitentiary. Now that's a word with power behind it. Same with the word guard. Now they call them corrections officers. Why don't they just call them flight attendants? We're the only thing between the good, law-abiding citizens and the animals of society that they need caged. But we need to look nice and neat and sweet. Well, I'll tell you, it's a hard job. I became an officer at Lardner, the same prison my old man had worked at years before, but unlike him, I climbed the ladder quickly. His lazy, drunken self wasn't the model employee by any stretch, but me, I loved what I did and I did it well. It's all about psychology. You treat a prisoner like a prisoner. You don't respect their space, you don't call them by their first name, and you sure as hell don't do them any favors. They need to be aware that the only thing between them and your club is their ability to be polite. The moment that their demeanor shifts a single iota in the wrong direction, BAM! Discipline. They need to learn discipline more than anything. They arrive and they are immediately told to take a shower, to get dressed, to make their beds. These things have to be pounded into their heads because if they had any discipline at all in the first place, they wouldn't be here. Now, a lot of people say it's like dealing with children, but I can tell you when I was 9 years old, I never once pulled a sharpened toothbrush on my little sister. No, these are grown men completely aware of what they are doing, and they are choosing to do it. I have never batted an eye at kneecapping a single one of them. But those were the old days, you see. As I became a supervisor, things calmed. There wasn't a lot of action, but I got to make sure everyone was doing their jobs to the best of their ability. The warden had no clue what he was doing. The prison was dirty, the guards were selling cigarettes to the inmates. I had no problem at all expressing my disdain for the operation. I was handed a cell block of my own at 26 years old, and strictly because the warden wanted to watch me fail. And he said I had no clue when I would go around talking smack about his inefficiencies. He would have been right. The guards were lazy, and the inmates in the block here were violent and disorderly. But I didn't care. I walked into the place and I fixed every single problem by myself. There were no more fights in the yard, no more sneaking cigarettes in storage closets. I pulled that entire block together myself. No one had to help me. No one except for my baton. I did it in spite of all of the help the staff had to offer. And before the warden could properly ignore my accomplishments, there was a surprise visit by the lieutenant governor. He saw what I had done and he immediately put me in for a big recommendation. That's how I got this job. A brand new state-of-the-art facility unlike anything else in the country. It looks less like a prison than it does an industrial park, and all the locks are magnetic, and I can section off any area I want with the swipe of my touch screen. The best part is, I do it all myself. No guards needed. I sit in my control room and I judge what is happening by viewing my cameras. If prisoners are getting rowdy, I can have the sprinkler system spray boiling hot water. It stops them dead in their tracks, and it's my own design. At night, I inspect every lock, every corner for a blind spot. This system couldn't work with just anybody, but it's me who makes it shine. When the state reinstituted the death penalty, the governor was so impressed with the facility and how I ran it They built the only execution room in the state right here. They truck in some of the real bad guys you see on TV down to my little establishment. You know, one guy they brought in had been all over the news for months. He killed maybe 40 people and managed to make the cops look stupid. When they brought him in, they offered me some support staff so I wouldn't feel in danger. I refused it outright. This was just another animal in the zoo. That night, I opened his cell and I made sure he understood that I was in control. He wasn't so tough standing there with his head shaved, waiting to go. I made a call that night and convinced them to allow the execution to be entirely self-contained. That's right. I pulled the switch too. If you ask me, it's a privilege. I'm not just containing the scum of the earth, I'm helping to end it. I'm part of the solution and sure as hell not part of the problem. Now, I'm not obsessed with my job, but I am diligent. I monitor from my home when I'm not here, and I've been known to catch some sleep in my office because the job needs to be done right. It's important. I won't pretend it's easy to do it all myself, but I will tell you that I can do it. Thanks to the magnetic locks, I can separate any prisoner I want, then have a little one-on-one time with them. I am respected, and they are disciplined. New Year's Eve came up fast, and I had been in charge for 8 years by that point, and my record was phenomenal. It was a mild winter, and I don't think I had to shovel my driveway once that year, so I decided to spend the holiday in my office. It's a huge wall of monitors with interfaces all around. I preferred to control it all with my handheld unit. It was pretty genius. I mean, it was a computer, a phone, and a two-way radio. If they threw in a can opener, I think they'd have it perfect. Some storm clouds had been pushing their way into the county, and they were making a lot of noise. I checked the weather report on my hand unit. It predicted a severe thunderstorm. That damn thing was so useful. The storm was harsh and loud. There was lightning flashing constantly. Some people would be nervous, but not me. This is my land, and I'm the king. I took another drink out of my flask. Whiskey and late shifts go together like peanut butter and jelly, by the way. As I opened my eyes after enjoying another belt, I heard a loud crashing. Everything was dark. Pitch black. I couldn't see my own hand in front of my face. I know this place backwards and forwards. In 4 seconds, the backup lights will activate. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing. The storm must have taken out the prison's generator and not just the power grid. That generator is meant to be the backup. I have to call someone. My hand unit doubles as a flashlight. I really love that thing. So I found my way to my chair and I made the call. What the hell is going on? Sir, lightning struck the transformer that feeds the power to you. You can't receive anything from the power grid or from your own backup generators. Why don't we have a backup for this? It's a 1 in a million shot that the storm would take out the transformer. Lightning basically struck your facility. Well, when can I have the power back on? I'm not sure, sir. We will have the engineers to you immediately. We'll send a riot squad to you and get you out of there. Don't send a riot team. Just focus on getting the power back on. Sir, the locks could fail at any time. We need to send in the squad to maintain order. I can maintain order! You just get the power back on. I can handle this. I don't suggest it. I am in charge! Do what I say or I will call the governor myself! Yes, sir. We'll radio when the power is back on. Idiot dispatcher. He's some minimum wage know-it-all trying to tell me how to run my prison. I know what I'm doing. It is eerie, though, sitting here. My eyes had adjusted to the dark, and now I could see all these blank screens. All those inmates I'm not seeing. But but I'm positive the locks couldn't fail. There's just no way. Jesus Christ, my door! Someone was pounding on my door! Come out, Warden! We want to thank you for unlocking the doors! Giving us all a fresh start for the new year! The animals were out of their cages. It didn't take them long, opportunistic monsters that they were. I don't have anything to worry about. When the power comes back on, I'll lock the whole place down. I'll force them back into their cages and I won't feed them till I feel like it. Warden! We know you're in there, come on! Me and the boys want to make sure you're all right. We hope you didn't stub your toe in the dark or anything. I'm not stupid. If that door fails, I know exactly what to do. I made my way to the closet off past my control center. There's nothing as effective as an old standard. As I opened the door, lightning flashed and showed my eyes the outline of my shotgun. My secret weapon, I guess. The slamming on the door was getting louder and louder. The moment they come in here, I can pump them full of lead, and I'm totally justified. As I loaded a few rounds into the rifle, the door kicked open. I couldn't see who was there, but I turned and I fired. I don't know if I hit anyone, but my point was made. I started walking toward them, ready to fire again. They closed the door. I didn't expect that. Maybe they aren't so stupid. It was getting quiet now. I could hear the faintest rustling, like they were rats. Like they were rats. They were rats. Then my radio sounded. Sir, do you need assistance? Just get the power back on! I shut the handset off and I put my attention back to the door. I could smell something strange. The room was so dark, but I felt like the wall was moving or shifting. Then I realized it was smoke. The room was filling with smoke. I started to panic as my lungs filled quickly. I was choking. I tried to get the handset on my belt clip out, but my lungs burned and my eyes, they rolled into the back of my head. My eyes tried to focus. I couldn't quite make out where I was. I was sitting and I couldn't move. I could feel cold steel on my forehead, or maybe it was around my head. Hey man, we know you're like the king or something, so we wanted to give you your own throne, complete with a crown. It was one of the prisoners, but I couldn't see anyone in the room. I could just hear him taunting me. Sorry, pal. The governor isn't calling for you. Dear God, I was in the electric chair, and I could hear the lever being pulled. I knew that sound all too well. It squeaked all the way to nothing. Idiots, the power isn't on. What a bunch of morons. When I get out of here, they're dead. I heard a sound coming out of my pocket. My handset was sounding off. Sir, we will be able to restore full power. No! I can't reach it! It's in my pocket! In 3, 2, 1. Ah!